Good morning, everyone. This is Dust for Dustodon Gaming, doing a little bit more of a playback of our modern Boros Burn 100 Treasure Chest Challenge. This is very similar to the deck list we played last time out. Still trying out 2 Dire Fleet Daredevils in the sideboard. Other than that, 3 Rest in Peace, 4 Path to Exile, 2 Grim Lavamancer, 2 Searing Blood, and 2 Exquisite Firecraft in the sideboard. Main deck's the same pretty much as it always is, so that adieu, let's get into the matches. So, got a little bit lucky this league, which was kind of nice for a change. So, let's get into the matches. We lead on a hand that's pretty good in most matchups. 1 land, maybe too many, but Goblin Guide into a bunch of burn spells, including a Searing Blaze if we're up against a creature deck. Once on the play, they show us Goblin Guide and reveal a Lava Spike. We attack back, they show us Eidolon, they play a bunch of 1-drops. Go ahead and do that, give them a chance to block, clear the Swift Spear out with the Searing Blaze there. Boros charm us for a bunch, suspend the Rift Bolt. We have to play a Razor's Edge here, Helix their dude. They go ahead and bolt us, play a Eidolon, kill our guy. Go ahead, we have to kill their Eidolon here. So, here, I make the choice to Lava Spike them, to bolt them, and to kind of hope they don't hit anything here, because we knew one of the cards in the hand was a land. Skull Crack them. Opponent shoots us to 1 there. But they should have done that at their end step and then attacked us for lethal, so we were actually a bit fortunate here. Play our land, kill their dude. So, got a little bit fortunate they missed sequence there. They should have shot us on end step and then untapped and attacked us for lethal, even if their hand was like a bunch of like blaze effects and lands. Game 2. Let's see here, sideboarding. Brought in 2 paths. Basically brought in 2 paths, 2 Searing Bloods, and 2 Dire Fleet Daredevils. Mainly because our opponent showed us the Grim Lavamancers, so it's likely they have a higher creature count by a little bit than some burn decks do in the main, so don't always bring that in. But this hand can't keep a 5-lander, even if it does have a wonderful card like Lightning Helix. It starts with the beatdowns. We also start with the beatdowns. Opponent with a good start again. Go ahead and Searing Blood their dude, get in for some damage here. Lightning Helix, looks like we're losing the race again. Put us to 5. Go ahead and tap this. Searing Blaze their dude. Get in for some damage. They play that tapped. They Eidolon us. We hit a land. Kill their dude. Drop them to 3 and then bolt them. So, got fortunate with our draws that our opponent bricked off a little bit. They had very good draws both games, but we were able to... One game they petered out and made a mistake. The second game we were just able to fade and kill them on 4. The second match... This one's a little bit rough, but this is a matchup I've played like once before since the printing of Night of Autumn. So... These decks just feel a little rough overall. This hand's obviously a mulligan. This hand's decent. You know, Swift Spear, Eidolon, Searing Blaze. Put the land at the bottom. They leave on Aether Vial. So likely green, white, death, and taxes at this point. Shocks in, plays Thalia. Just go ahead and play out Eidolon, even though it's not the best here. Opponent brings in their Eidolon, cracks their thing. Plays a Leonin Arbiter. Gets rid of our Eidolon, so we at least got some damage off of it. Starts going beatdowns. We attack, opponent blocks, we get the whatever for one there. Opponent just Eternal Witnesses back Thalia. We don't draw anything, we don't attack, they Flicker Wisp their Eternal Witness, so they get a lot of value here, and then we just scoop to Shalai because we have 2 lands in hand, and they're at way too high of a life total. Sideboarding in this matchup. Brought in the 4-Path Exile, the 2 Grim Lavamancer, and the 2 Searing Blood. Board out the 4 Eidolons because we're up against an Aether Vial deck, and 4 Lava Spike because they're the least efficient burn spell. Sand's pretty decent, maybe 1 too many lands than I like, but still, start getting into Swift Spear here. Play Noble Hierarch. Get into Swift Spear. Play our Grim Lavamancer. Go ahead and flicker that out. Immediately path our dude. It's possible a line I should have taken there would have been to kill their Noble, but our Lightning Helix really doesn't do that profitably. So we kind of have to unload our hand here. Keep our creature on the board. We do deal them a lot of damage. They play a Scavenging Ooze. And a Thalia. We draw a Searing Blaze. They don't block. They learn their lesson. Kill the Scavenging Ooze, put them to 7, and then things just kind of go south from here. Flicker Wisp, get back their land, attack with Thalia. Still feeling pretty good. They block. Then they play another Scavenging Ooze, and that's just kind of game, because they have a lot of power in hand. They're going up to like 10 here. Untap can go even higher. So maybe this was a slightly premature concession, but we were in a bad shape. They're going up to potentially 9, 10 this turn. They still had 1, so they could have gone up to 11, and then they would have had 2, 5, 6, so 8 power in play plus an activation of Township. So we were in pretty rough shape, so it's kind of why I conceded there, and that matchup just feels particularly brutal. This matchup was... We're on the play, which is nice. Oh, this one was an interesting one. I believe this was very similar to the list that Jerry Thompson was playing at the SCG Open yesterday. Go ahead and get in with a Swift Spear. Burning Inquiry. They hollow one us on turn 1. Play out Nylon because they are a heavy spell-based deck. Opponent plays pretty heavily into this. They deal 4 damage to get rid of the Eidolon and deal us 5. The Helix allow us to race a little bit. The bolts allow us to deal them a lot of damage. And then we draw burn spells to kill them. And sideboarding. Yet another match where we got a chance to bring in Direfleet Daredevil. Still haven't seen its effectiveness yet. Some arguments bring in Rest in Peace in this matchup. They are a Hollow One, or not Hollow One. They are a Arc-like Phoenix Bedlam Reveler deck, so that would cut off like half their threats, but that still leaves us somewhat vulnerable to the... what is it called? I can see the card like art, but I can't the menace, one drop menace creature here? Flameblade Adept still leaves us vulnerable to Flameblade Adept plus Hollow One, so I opted for 4-path, 2 Direfleet Daredevil. They likely don't have any life gain as a mono red deck unless it's Dragon's Claw, so I left the 4 Skullcracks and 2 Lava Spikes in the thing and brought in the 4-pass and the 2 Direfleet Daredevils. I don't think Searing Blood has enough targets because they only kills half their creatures, so I don't know if it was worth it there. But so again, could have sideboarded slightly differently with the rest in pieces and such, but sounds nice if we draw a land, so I definitely keep it here. Opponent goes turn 1 Flameblade Adept. We could have pathed it, but I choose to Riftbolt it instead. They Goblin Lore us, discarding an Arc-like Phoenix. That's something to keep in mind. We draw a land, play out Eidolon. Opponent kills it. Burning Inquiries, missing on a 3rd target there. So with those maximized velocities in the graveyard, we want to minimize their ability to cast a 3rd spell. They miss here. Go ahead and path or Boros Charm them. Go ahead and put them to 3 here during their upkeep. We go ahead and path that, so they don't have somebody to hit with maximized velocity. They play a Hollow One. Play maximized velocity, path it. So once again, they continue to not be able to get their guy into play from the graveyard, and then we Lightning Bolt them for lethal. So, alright, match number 4 was against Tron. Continues to be a very positive matchup, but close, as we'll look at when we look at the stats here. Obviously, game 1, don't know what we're up to. Hand feels alright. Most matchups against Tron is actually pretty terrible, especially when they're going turn 1 Tron every game. But our opponent helped us out a little bit, like each game. They cycle a bunch of stars this turn, trying to get through their deck. Walking Ballista here to kill it. The opponent took like, what, 7 damage that turn? 6 damage. We draw a Swift Spear on like the best turn. Hit them for a bunch of damage here, so it almost doesn't matter what they do. And then, obviously, we have lethal in hand. Match number 2 is, or game number 2 is kind of the opposite of what Burn normally does. 1 lander, couple Goblin Guides. Most of the time I'm going to keep this hand, especially against Tron, because that is a lot of pressure early on, and if they like stumble at all, this hand has a pretty good chance to kill them before they can recover. But, you know, Tron being Tron does the Tron thing sometimes. We have natural Tron, we get with some Goblin Guides. We have Karn here, go after one of our Goblin Guides. Reveals another, I believe they have another Karn revealed, yep. Suspend the Riftbolt, they kill our land. They play another Karn, exile our dude. Basically, flawless victory here. We killed our Karn, and then draw a Swift Spear. They're at 12, we have no cards in hand, they have natural Tron, so probably an early scoop here, but yeah. Maybe shouldn't have kept the 1 lander. Maybe should have played a little bit differently with those Goblin Guides against that Karn there. And match number 5 was a little bit of a weird one. Opponent made some mistakes, but we still end up losing the match because sometimes humans does human things. Humans, opponent does that. We draw Searing Blaze, we kill their Noble Hierarch, and for some damage here. They play Thalia, we bolt their Thalia. Suspend a Riftbolt, for damage. They play Reflector Mage. We Riftbolt their face. We do the thing. They play Meddling Mage, we Boros Charm them. Again for some damage, Boros Charm them and kill them. Alright, game number 2. Sideboarding. Board out 4 Lava Spike, 4 Eidolon. We're up against Ether Vial deck. Board in the 2 Grim Lavamancer. Board in the 4 Path to Exile and the 2 Searing Blood. Opening hand. Opening hand's pretty decent. We got 2 creatures. Some burn spells to leverage them. And our opponent chooses not to play first. And in the end, it still doesn't matter because sometimes humans goes humans. Suspend our Rift Bolts. There's Thalia. Draw another Swift Spear, looking pretty good here. Opponent gets a Manus Rider down. Freebooters are whatchamacallit here. So use the bolt to clear out the Manus Rider here, and then we kind of get humansed. So opponent knows we have the 2 Skull Cracks in hand, and then we see Meddling Mage on top of their deck. Still feeling alright with the situation we're in. Opponent plays Meddling Mage, plays Mantis Rider, gets in for some damage. We draw a land. Hold the land in our hand in case we draw Searing Blaze and they draw Auriok Champion. Still attacking us. We draw Rift Bolts, which once again we could put them to maybe it would have been correct to like Rift Bolt this or this and try to get in some amount of damage there. And then that just equates to lethal. So can't block, can't block, can't block, and we die. So and then the final game of the final match on the play. Hand's pretty decent, you know. 1 creature to leverage, some burn spells. Why is there Lava Spike in my deck right now? That's game 1. It's like, why is this the pre-board games? Game number 3 is the one we want. Like, I shouldn't have Lava Spike in my deck right now. 1 lander, bit of a gamble. Keep it because it has a lot of tools. Play the Grim. They have their usual opening. We miss on land drops. Play Auriok Champion. Go ahead and path it here. They gain a life, which is fine. But we continue to miss on lands. They just go full on beatdowns, and we just kind of scoop it here. We're too far behind. They have currently 7-9 power in play. We can like activate Lavamancer maybe on like Thalia or that, but we can't efficiently deploy our spells here against this kind of a board state, and this champion's already out of burn range. So once again, maybe too early of a scoop, but the game's pretty well over here considering we're getting attacked for 7 and then our opponent has 9 power in play. So another 3 and 2, which is, compared to what we were doing, is kind of nice. In terms of overall records now, we're up to 47 treasure chests, record of 64 and 36 through 100 matches, 149 and 95 through the various games overall. So, a couple of things going on. Because of work, I may not be able to make the RPTQ. I'm going to try, but looking like that's going to be a losing battle, especially given I've probably burned too many absences, unfortunately. So, I'm going to continue testing heavily for Modern in the hopes that I can play either one of the online RPTQs or spike the day off by trading with somebody. But this is the burn thing right now. We're at 47 of 100 treasure chests. Another thing importantly going on is literally 35 minutes ago, the mocks for next year's qualifying starts. So we're going to start qualifying in a couple different ways. There's both the points, the mocks themselves. There is the format challenge thing where you can qualify by any format. I'll do a separate video on that and what you guys think our game plan should be. Obviously, this is primarily a modern and standard channel, but they don't have a standard challenge, so such as it is what it is. But that's where things stand right now. We're still testing for the RPTQ on the off chance we can go. And beyond that, let's go ahead and start looking towards a positive 2019 for the channel and for Magic overall. This has been Dusk for Dustin on Gaming. Hope everyone has a wonderful day.